Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be an analysis of some of the most popular futures markets out there for traders. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, one quick clarification. I'll be using the 1 hour time frame, and what that means is each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 1 hour worth of price action. So right here you can see very, very impressive hour right there. Big, strong move, good solid volume there. And now we're creeping closer and closer to the level that I've been talking about in the past several videos, right up there around the 955 mark. So not quite there. You can't claim any breakouts or anything like that. But heading into the next session, you can certainly throw out there that you got to think a lot of eyeballs are going to be watching that level and wondering, is this finally the period where that level gets broken? And if I go back here, you can see this was a critical area back here from several days ago. And it's just really a question of, will the price be able to, not only get up there, but then push up through that level. And then in regards to areas of support that you could use for trade plans or just to gauge the overall health of the current movement, things are looking just fine. The price has done a great job of respecting and staying above the 50 period moving average, very nicely above the 200 period moving average. In fact, this one's actually got a slight little upward slope to it. So if the price continues to stay above it, then all of a sudden the 200 period is going to start to curl upwards, which from a bullish standpoint, always a good thing to see. And then, in fact, I was going to say, and then you have this level down here. But at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that level. It served its purpose for now, and I don't want to risk causing confusion because there's lines and clutter everywhere. So let's try to keep this as clean as possible. But overall, that's going to be the main dynamic moving forward, is can this momentum here carry up to the 955 mark and then push up through there, grab your popcorn for the next session. And I think it just dawned on me, I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I don't think I ever said what we're looking at. But hopefully you looked up here and saw that I have been talking about the NQ, so I apologize for that. But yeah, we have been looking at the NQ. Next one here, we are looking at the ES. So there we go. I'll make sure to mention that moving forward. So ES, very, very similar to the NQ we just looked at. Big, solid move right here. Although this one up here, the key level of resistance at the 145, still a ways away. But overall, it's making a potential move up to that area, but it's still right now got to get through this kind of general area right there as an area of resistance. As far as supports are concerned, this trend line right here that I've had in there for quite a while now continues to hold strong. The price is, gotten down somewhat close in the afternoon session here, but moving in the next session, it has done a good job of holding strong right above this little batch of areas of support. With all that being said, no guarantees, but I could see, and I think a lot of other people would agree, which, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. But if the price were to come down to this area and actually push down through, I can see that very realistically creating a sizable amount of downwards pressure. Not that this thing is going to go all the way down to previous lows or anything like that. But like I said, you have quite a bit of clump of supports right there. So if that clump fails, then yeah, I could see it, giving the bears some confidence and having that potentially create more downwards pressure. So definitely keep an eye on that general area right around the 60-61 mark. Next one here, the YM, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous videos, but if you have, then hopefully remember me talking about this resistance zone up here, and you can see that earlier on in the session, the price entered into the resistance zone right there and just got smacked right back down. Tried a little bit of a bounce here and then rolled back over that much more, and is now stuck. Actually, let me do this because I'm curious. Move this line out here. Is it? Yeah, so right here, sort of like what I was just talking about with the ES, the YM a little bit ahead in the sense of, yeah, it's getting stuck up in this big old clump of supports. You have the 50 period, you have the 200 period, you have this trend line right here. So far, so good. This is hanging on right now, and you could very realistically see a bounce up off of that level, but that's why risk management matters, because there are no guarantees. Because on the flip side of things, you could also very realistically see the bears start to pick up more strength to the downside, but you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, because as of right now, this general area here is holding strong. It's just more a question of moving forward. Will it continue to hold strong? If it does not, and the price pushes to the downside, key area that I would definitely keep an eye on and that I think could be very realistically in play would be down here right around the 350 mark. So keep an eye on that. Again, I'm not saying it shoots straight down to that area, but like I said, if this section does break, I could see it, starting to kind of bleed, maybe slowly and methodically down to that area right here. But it is the future, so who knows? Maybe it drops down there within, 5 minutes, but you never quite know. But overall, definitely a very interesting dynamic heading in the next session. Will this clump of area of supports hold strong, create a bounce, or are we about to see another push of momentum to the downside? Grab your popcorn. Now we're moving out of the indices and into oil, specifically crude. So taking a look at CL here, and yeah, it's hanging on, but it's getting very, very close to getting even more sketchy and hanging on, meaning it's right now staying within the general vicinity of that area of support that I've talked about in several past videos around the 70-65 mark. But I mean, if you want to be a stickler, you could say, no, Clay, it's actually broken down below there. This is the break. And I mean, I can't argue about that. All I'm saying is, well, it's still at least within the range right here. But if you want to plant your flag on the no, it's been broken, so that should technically now be an area of resistance, I wouldn't put too much effort, or I wouldn't put too much pushback. But nonetheless, like I said, this is still going to be a key area that you got to think a lot of people are wondering: are the bears going to be able to separate to the downside? And for the people that are looking for potential bearish trades, then they're chomping at the bit, just saying, what, I just want to see a little bit more, and then I'm going to hop back in, which could be a self-fulfilling prophecy where you just get a bunch of people entering from the short side, which just pushes the price down that much more. Any sort of bounces, really nothing new to report for those of you that have watched the past videos, because the same levels I've been talking about still do pertain, namely that purple line there, 50-period moving average. I've talked about in the past, and you can see right here, rejection. So for any of you that watched the past videos that maybe took shorts or anything up around that area, congratulations to you. You got a very nice rollover in your favor. But nonetheless, if there is any sort of bounce, still got to deal with that purple line there, 50-period moving average. And then even if there is a bigger bounce, you have this trend line. And actually, as of right now, the trend line is essentially the same value as that pink line there, which you now know is a 200-period moving average. But I think the most important and kind of key dynamic right now is what's going to happen with this area of support. Do the bears get more separation to the downside? Will there be some sort of bounce? So we'll see what happens. Now moving into the world of precious metals and specifically gold. Gold has been on an absolute monster move, and now we have a bit more of a pullback. But from a trading standpoint, I like it just because you got to think that everybody and their brother's uncle has drawn that trend line right there. Let me change it up a little bit. And I make all those comments because when a lot of people are watching the same exact levels and wondering the same exact things, call it the self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there are no guarantees, certainly more than valid to think that if the price can come up here and push up through that level, that break in and of itself could very realistically create additional upside buying pressure and give it a good chance, at least in my opinion, especially given how strong gold has been, to come up here and at least do battle with these highs at the 29.03 mark. Now, will it break up through there? I'm not quite sure on that, but again, it's gold. It's been very strong. But from just a trading standpoint, a break right there, and then even if it does get rejected, from a trading standpoint, I think there's plenty of wiggle room right in and of itself there to potentially pull some profits from that move. But nonetheless, that'll be a key trend line that a lot of people are watching, followed by these highs up here. So keep an eye on those from the resistance side of things. Now, if the price does roll back over, yes, from the overarching standpoint, you do have that pink line right there, the 200-period moving average. But a near-term level of support that ideally you do want to see hold, that I could see coming into play, would be that area right there around the 28.55 mark. Going through the history of things, you can see acted as support there, was a former area of resistance, and then acted as support right there. But all in all, interesting dynamic. We have a bit of a pullback finally, but is this just a breath before another move to the upside? We'll see what happens, but gold has without doubt been very strong. So that wraps up the analysis, and I want to invite you to sign up and give this prop firm a try. It's the one that I'm using and enjoying, and what you saw the entire time at the top part of the video. But make sure you use the link claytrader.com/take profit. A link is down below. That will give you the best deal possible. They're always running promotions, and that'll ensure that you get the best deal whenever you are watching this. And then also, just as an FYI, they serve people basically around the world, but if you see your country on that list, unfortunately for you, they would not be available to you. But everybody else, yeah, definitely get signed up. Like I said, it's not me just saying stuff. It is who I use as my futures prop firm, and I'd encourage you to at least give them a try. So if you enjoy these videos, as always, hit that like button, and if you're looking for a super easy and free way to support the channel, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help out. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.